Mayor de Blasio vowing not to let any New Yorkers go hungry during this pandemic. The person responsible for coordinating that effort is the COVID-19 food czar, and Kathryn Garcia. She wears many hats now in this administration. She's joining us this morning to explain what steps she is now taking to keep food on everybody's table. So good morning and thanks for joining us, Ms. Garcia. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So yesterday was a very powerful press conference there. It's been 2 weeks since you were tapped for this position, and you really made this big announcement yesterday that no New Yorker will go hungry as this pandemic rolls through and rolls on. How can you ensure that?
So we're stepping up a lot of programs across the city. One of them is the grab and go at the schools, where any person can go and get food for themselves or their children. Another is making sure that we are infusing the pantries with money to make sure that they can continue to provide food in those neighborhoods that were in need before.
Right.
And now it is just much worse. And then, of course, for the truly vulnerable, we are doing delivery. And so over the last few weeks, we've done probably close to 5 million meals for people. We anticipate by the end of April, we'll be at 10 million meals that we have provided. So it is stepping up and making sure that we have capacity in the system to ensure that people are not going hungry. We do not want to see the absolute tragedy of the COVID virus become a tragedy of hunger.
And so how are you ensuring that those folks who cannot leave their homes, right, how can they receive these meals? I understand yesterday you announced that Uber and the TLC now working to make some of these deliveries as well. How will that play out?
Right. So the system that we've set up is direct link with TLC registered drivers. And so you can go on nyc.gov/getfood. There's a button if you need emergency food delivered. And those are distributed out of hubs across all 5 boroughs. And you are given a box with a 2-day supply of food to get you through each time.
So in the beginning of the pandemic, you know, we were really focusing on the fact that there was a food supply shortage because everybody was going out and buying all the supplies, right, and stockpiling them in their own homes. How are you in terms of supplies to make sure that this is up and going and sustainable?
Right. And on the supply chain, what we saw at the beginning was very panic buying and also a real shift in consumer behavior around what it was they were choosing to purchase. And so we have seen the supply chain as it's gotten more predictable, what we want in a pandemic versus what we wanted in February. And they are starting to resolve those supply chains. And we're seeing food come into the city. So we are putting contracts in place for the food that we are providing, but we are still seeing a lot of food come into the city and a lot of donations of food. So we have used the Donate NYC portal, and I think the day before yesterday we did 20,000 pounds of matching.
And, you know, and food pantries and soup kitchens, those are really key to the 1 million New Yorkers on a daily basis that need to go to those places. Are you seeing less panic buying and more availability for the food to keep places like that up and running as well?
Yes, no, we are seeing food get to food pantries. The biggest challenge for food pantries has been having enough volunteers to deal with the demand that they're seeing, to be able to unpack pallets and repack things into boxes for a family. And so we have also some volunteers there that we have organized, city employees whose job today may not actually be happening. And we are providing funding. We will be providing funding so that they can hire people on their own.
And, you know, you mentioned the low income in the most vulnerable communities. We talked with the mayor recently about really putting more outreach into those communities. It doesn't stop with the food as well. So how are you going about reaching folks in those communities who may not even know that a program like this exists right now?
Well, I'm saying the program we stood up 2 weeks ago, a lot of people in low-income communities have found us. But we are working through all of our regular channels in terms of how we do outreach. And we know that they are coming in. We know that they are coming to places and we are delivering a lot of food. So we think that the word is getting out there.
And I just want to touch upon your other hat that you wear as Sanitation Commissioner. We spoke to you last time as the Sanitation Commissioner, which you are. And I want to just, say how is it going on the front for the sanitation workers who are still out there making sure city streets remain clean?
I am unbelievably impressed with what the department's been able to do. We see some minor delays in collection day in and day out, but we are basically getting everything every day, and that is taking some Herculean effort. We have seen our sick start to turn the curve, so to speak, and that is helping tremendously to keep up with the workload because, as you know, New Yorkers still produce waste, even in a pandemic.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more of it, too, because everybody's at home all at once. So thank you. Thank you to the sanitation workers who are out there on a daily basis. And, we do these Skype interviews, and it's a little peek into your world. And I just want to say I like the Oscar the Grouch on your desk there. It's a nice little touch you have there.
He's been a longtime favorite.
Very nice. Ms. Garcia, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you, okay? Stay safe.
Thank you.
All right, 9:37.